afternoon, everyone. I am Prophet in Training Lex, again, pronouns they, them. And today's sermon, brought by me, is called It's Your Calling. You ever wonder why you're really good at a particular thing or why you tend to obsess over certain things? Maybe you think it's weird, or maybe you think you're just quirky. Maybe you think you're the only one who's like this. I can almost guarantee you're not. When I was still new to Facebook, so a few years back, I discovered the Become a Fan pages, which are now the likes, or whatever they're called now. I'm not on there. There were so many that resonated with me, and it blew my mind that so many people had certain same interests or habits or felt the same way about certain things that I did. My world expanded in that moment, and it's still expanding today, even now. For some reason, I'm friends with a lot of people dealing with similar issues and flavors of trauma to mine, including but not limited to depression, neurodivergency, abuse, mommy and daddy issues, emotional neglect, suicidal thoughts, mental self-harm. You get the point. Our minds aren't always the happiest places to be. Hi. And it's not like I specifically go looking for people with these kind of similarities. We just kind of start bonding over mutual interests and small talk one minute, and then we're casually making jokes about our trauma the next. You know, as one does.
Yeah.
Alright. Now, I have these things in common with some people, but I also have another major thing in common with a lot of my friends. I'm a huge nerd, in case that wasn't obvious.
Yeah.
And as you can see by my walls, I have fan art buttons and Funko Pops oh, you're showing Yeah, there's a lot of Funko Pops and K-pop and
Yeah. Stop.
We're not, I obviously cannot hide that. And there's more in my room too, it's fine.
Walks the camera in there.
I also love writing and telling stories, and I'm also an anime junkie, which brings me to my appearance. One anime I've seen is called Ultimate Otaku Teacher. The main character, Junichiro Kagami, who I'm partially cosplaying as, I just don't have the shoes or the wig, because I don't have the type of wig I need for this. Also, my hair looks pretty awesome still. Shout out to Storm Cuts and Edie Cuts hair. But yeah, so in the anime, he's a huge nerd keeping up with the latest manga drops, anime releases, video game stuff, you know, all of that. He's also kind of a bum though, he just kind of lives in his parents' basement. So his little sister makes him get a job as a teacher. He is not having that. He wants nothing to do with that. He tries to run away several times, but she threatens to beat him with a bat and, you know, it happens.
Fine.
Just anime things, you know? But eventually he finds his footing when he relates the subject matter he's teaching to some aspect of nerddom. Like I think in one, he basically like does a virtual reality thing in like a video game or whatever. I forget what lesson he teaches, but like the whole class basically gets it. And he winds up using the mediums he's interested in to teach life lessons in a relatable manner. Anybody see where I'm going with this? Got it, okay. I chose the passage earlier to show that God paid extreme attention to detail when they made us. Also, side note, I use they them pronouns to refer to God. You know, if you refer to God as he, she, they, you know, whatever, as long as it's respectful. They paid extreme attention to detail when they made us. Nothing was overlooked, and we are made the way we are at our core because of them. God makes us the way we are for a reason, including with all our quirks and all of our all of our obsessions, as you have seen. And there's a reason why there are people with similar quirks and interests as us: intimacy and relatability. In Genesis 2:18, God says that it's not good for man to be alone. This is after he, you know, made all living things, including Adam. So they made Eve after him. Anyone ever stop to realize why the Almighty God, ruler of the universe, great provider, omniscient, omnipotent being, beginning and the ends, several other titles, would say that Adam was alone? Seriously, anybody stop to wonder that?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Adam was human. God's a spirit. So some amount of relatability is lost there. We did talk about having Jesus as our great high priest who can relate to us and who was tempted in every way that we are, but we have that high priest because Jesus became human. God met us where we were at, pretty much. But because Adam was human and God was still a spirit, some amount of relatability was lost there. Eve was another human being, so Adam could relate to her in a way that he couldn't with God. So, case in point, we need each other, but we also need to be open about our interests. So what makes you tick? What are some things that you love? And how can you use those obsessions and gifts for the kingdom? Artists often use their mediums to impart truths or messages in a way that's accessible, engaging, and memorable. Honestly, we can use a lot more of that in the church today. We need people who are relatable, as Chuck kind of touched on in their Sunday school message, that we don't need the traditional polished, stuffy, cisgender, straight, white male preachers. We need more people like us, those who aren't afraid to cosplay and preach. And those who aren't so far removed from secular things. Because how are non-believers going to feel about us if they don't think they can relate? And even more than that, how are they going to feel about God in turn? Christianity should be inclusive, but we need to show people how they can be included as well. Some of y'all know, I know y'all three know, y'all might not, and you probably don't know, that I run a blog where some posts I involve anime or some other aspect of pop culture to expand on other Christian themes. Like if you're familiar with the musical Hamilton, I basically take the parts where after Hamilton cheats on Eliza and they're in the garden and he apologizes to her, not thinking that she will accept him, but then as the song goes, she takes his hand, and that's where the forgiveness comes in. So I use that to kind of talk about that. And this is itsfit.wordpress.com if anybody wants to follow. I thought my obsessions were weird for a while, and honestly not too many people do like anime devotionals, so that's also kind of like, is this okay? Should I not be doing this? So I still kind of do, as you were saying, the healthy doubt kind of still happens. But I also think it's kind of cool because, anime devotionals. How many other people are doing that? And how many other people can potentially vibe with that? Especially now that I have more ideas for K-pop related posts coming at some point. And a pretty,
Sorry.
You're good. And a pretty extensive anime series. It's not really a secret that I'm kind of obsessed with One Piece at the moment, so I heard that.
How it could be a secret, Lex.
It's really not.
I love you dearly. I want you to know that.
I love you too. So yeah, there's going to be a pretty extensive anime series revolving around One Piece, so stay tuned for that. Yes. But if I hadn't embraced this aspect of myself, I wonder how things would be different. Yeah, people can still relate to me in a few ways, but not in ways that are so deeply ingrained with who I am. I'd be missing out on some prime opportunities to connect. So, in closing, my message to y'all, is just to be authentic and unashamed of who you are. Because you never know how God can and will use you. The end.
Lex.